Ben Knight reporting there. Well, down in the Latrobe Valley, there's a sense of here we go again. The region is still recovering from the privatisation of the power industry in the 90s when thousands of people lost their jobs. Now, Hazelwood has closed and there's been very little time to prepare. People are hoping for the best but fearing the worst and are frustrated at the lack of specifics in the government response so far. But it's not all doom and gloom down in the valley. As Kellie Lazzaro reports, some local business operators are optimistic and say the region will bounce back.
If the Latrobe Valley is supposed to be down and out, no one told Lizzie Maskell. She opened this cafe in Newborough just 2 months ago and says business is good.
A $4 coffee or an hour massage or yoga session that people are still spending and wanting to be a part of their community.
She went ahead even after hearing of Hazelwood's closure.
How are you, Jen?
Good, how are you?
You can come in, you can try something new, you can fail, you can try again. There is so much support around.
At just 27, this is her second business venture. She also runs a wholesale take-home meals operation she started 2 years ago.
It's so important to invest in where we are, be proud of where we're from and to try and display that as well as we can, especially when times are tougher.
Builder Ben Tyler is also optimistic.
The valley was feeling a little stale, but the vibe now is just go, go, go.
He says the fear and uncertainty about the closure have been worse for the local economy than the shutdown itself.
It's just let's make something happen, and we're exploring all these new ideas and new technologies, whether they be coal-based, whether they be forestry, whether they be agriculture. I think it's just got everyone's mind ticking.
When the news broke of Hazelwood's closure, the state and federal governments scrambled to respond, kicking in $300 million to help cushion the blow. $50 million is going towards subsidies and tax breaks for new and expanding businesses. There's $85 million to upgrade sporting facilities. But people here have seen governments throw money around before.
Various entities around the place pork barrel this money, they take this money. And yes, it might be good to get a $46 million swimming pool, but it will not change the economic fundamentals of the Latrobe Valley. G'day Ray, how are you?
G'day Cheryl, how you doing, Dom?
Cheryl Ragg is a long-time community activist. She says there have been plenty of great ideas for new industries, but nothing has materialised.
For example, converting our brown coal into carbon fibre. Carbon fibre is worth something like $20,000 a tonne. The value add is huge. Why haven't we got a carbon pitch plant in Latrobe Valley? We don't, because we don't have any body, we don't have a commission enshrined in legislation to make that happen.
She's critical of projects like this, a $1 million renovation of the art gallery at Morwell. Kellie White is the acting head of the Latrobe Valley Authority, whose job it is to work out how to spend the state government's money. She rejects the accusation of pork barrelling.
Many of the projects that we're working on now have been those that have been discussed or been in the pipeline or considered for the region up until now. So now it's the chance to get those underway and then look to what's next.
But what is next? No one from the authority or the government seems to know.
Hazelwood won't be the last of the Latrobe Valley's power stations to shut down. Others will follow. For decades, people here have listened as politicians and bureaucrats talk about a transition. There have been task forces, things have been built and beautified, yet there's still no clear idea of what that transition is or where it's supposed to be headed.
At town meetings like this, there's more scepticism about how the money is being spent.
$16,000 for a business plan. Guy's run a successful business for 25 years. He doesn't need a business plan. This money that's being handed out, taxpayers' dollars, what we really need to keep track of it.
Harriet Shing is a local state Labor MP. She says this time it will be different.
We've had millions committed over the years with promises to turn coal into diamonds. It hasn't translated into real jobs on the ground.
As of tomorrow, hundreds of those real jobs are needed for former Hazelwood workers. Some will be kept on to decommission the plant and rehabilitate the mine. Some may get jobs at other power plants like Loy Yang, but many, like Troy Makepeace, feel misled. He signed on with Hazelwood 3 years ago on a promise that the plant would still be running until at least 2025.
You confident you'll get a job?
I have to be. Yes, I am. Where, when and how, I don't know. That's what scares me the most.
He and his wife Mars finished building this house weeks before the announcement the plant would shut. His redundancy payout equates to about 3 months' pay.
We've gone on a massive roller coaster, emotion-wise, to one day, accepting the keys to a house you've just spent over 2 years in putting together, to 3 weeks later thinking, I can't believe we made that decision. Why did we do it? And that sucks because it's something we've worked so hard for.
Mars has been through this before. Her dad was one of the thousands of power workers who lost their jobs when the State Electricity Commission was sold off in the 90s.
Now I can understand why my dad was talking about moving away and taking the family and, things like that. But then he just got a job elsewhere, which was really lucky, but it took him a long time, Didn't feel protected by the government then, don't feel protected by the government now.
Ben Tyler believes it will happen for people like Troy.
Do you hope this is a bit of a turning point for this region?
You could look at the loss of the jobs, or you could look at there's 700 skilled trades now available. What can we do with them? And let's make use of this opportunity.
We need factories, we need businesses, we need industries that will get people off the streets and back into productive work.
Before another of the valley's big coal-fired power plants shuts down too.
That report from Kellie Lazzaro. Well, the decision